Hey everyone, welcome to the GRIT Crusade, the show where we really talk about what's authentic and real in life. You know, the grit, getting real in the trenches of life. I'm your host, Brooke Black, and I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a self-proclaimed comeback queen, as in I've been to the bottom and back and experienced a lot in life. We're here just to get real and be authentic because that's where we truly live and experience life. So, from listening to me share the wisdom about all the things I've totally messed up on in life and having some guests join us along the way, I'm so excited that you're here. And more than anything, share this with people that you know could use it too. So now, let's dig in and get real in the trenches. Welcome back to the GRIT Crusade. I'm so excited to have an awesome special guest with you guys here today, Miss Laura Kirk. I feel like I need a drum roll for her. Laura is all the things. So Laura's a wife, a mom, a Lala. Am I saying that right?
That's
Lala?
my grandma name.
How many grandkids do you have?
I have 4.
4 grandkids. She is a farm girl. She's going to tell us about that today. An artist. She's techie. She's an educator. And she is the owner and founder of Laura Kirk Marketing, and she is an amazing marketing consultant, and so hopefully we'll get to hear about her and the big things that she has coming up down the pipeline today. So for those of you that maybe it's your first time, the GRIT Crusade is about getting real. So we don't just talk about all the fluff and good stuff. We also talk about how we got here. And so one of the things that I think Laura wants to share with us today is, and if she doesn't, then maybe she'll tell us no, but hopefully she does, is about how growing up on a farm and her childhood kind of prepared her for this journey that's led her into being this boss babe who's awesome and amazing and just doing the things. So tell us about you, where you came from, and all the things.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. So when you're growing up, you don't think about how your childhood and your young adulthood prepares you for the things later in life. And I didn't realize how different I was, growing up on a farm and doing the things that I did. I mean, I thought everybody got chased by cows.
I was gonna say, so you're like milking the cow kind of farm,
weren't that kind of farm.
Okay, all right, but cow chasing.
So we grew cattle. We had a couple hundred head of cattle.
Oh, just a couple hundred, like Yellowstone. Oh, I feel Yellowstone about that.
Oh, I wish it was Yellowstone.
You didn't have a rip out there, did you?
No rip. And we were row crop farmers. So that's like large corporate farming. We had thousands and thousands of acres of wheat and soybeans, corn.
Okay.
I grew up, I learned to drive when I was 6 because somebody had to throw the hay, and it was my dad and I. I'm the oldest of 3 girls, no brothers. And so he's throwing hay and I'm looking, in above the dash, just below the steering wheel, driving, and throwing bags of seed and doing all these things growing up. And playing outside for us was climbing on the hay and running outside, just all over the place. It was just, open. So the main thing, though, is I learned about being a business person and what it means, because farming is a business.
And it's hard.
It's hard. And resilience.
Yeah.
And what it means. And there's some failure in there, too. It doesn't always work out great when you're farming.
Well, see, I'm like a little self-proclaimed gardener around here with my house plants and stuff. And I can tell you, unfortunately, we have more plant funerals around here. Yeah. So you take that and put it on a mass scale. Sometimes shit happens.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
it does. And when shit happens, you have to learn how to get over it, pull up your bootstraps, and get back to work. I remember my grandma used to say that's like, you can be sad right now, but it's tomorrow you pull up your bootstraps and you get back to work. And it's been so interesting, that's a very masculine energy, and you learn that and you go into the business world and that's how you're functioning. And I was, built a career being like that in business development, marketing, and over time you get burnt out. So you have to kind of find that balance. So I think
of like going hard and then, but also having that rejuvenation time.
Yeah. And you have that in farming, you have off season where you're fixing the machines and you're getting ready to be back in the field,
right?
Getting ready to be back in the field. And then you're planting, you're growing. And that's kind of like when you're praying really hard that everything turns out and that prices stay good and then you're harvesting and it's a season. There's a season for everything.
Isn't that good? That's good.
Yeah. And I think, it took me a long time to realize, when I went out on my own, I didn't have that mindset. But over time, as I've looked back on my childhood and what I've learned and how it's affected me, I've been able to bring a lot of that into my business model now.
Yeah.
And it's not just my business model. When you're a small business owner, it's your life.
In your livelihood and your dinner on the table.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have to learn how to balance all of the things and that there is a season for everything and that failure isn't the end.
No.
Failure is just a reset and it's a learn from it and you get back up, pull your bootstraps up and you get back to work.
And fortunately, most people don't realize there's more failures than there are successes.
Oh, hell yeah.
I can't tell you how many things I've tried, how many programs, how many great ideas I've had. And everyone's like, that didn't work. That didn't work at all, you know? And it happens that way. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
It is. That's great. Okay. Well, we want to hear about where, kind of that's taken you in your business and your life, becoming a mom and all of that. But first, we're going to do trivia in the trenches.
Okay.
I know, right? So trivia in the trenches, for those of you that might be new, and for Laura, it's her first time here on with us, is where we do a little funny and we try to stump our guests. So right now, we have 100% batting average. Nobody's got the answer right on the first try.
Oh,
so
I'll keep your percentage
So
good.
since you, I'm kind of giggling at myself because I always try to find ones that are kind of, I like this one. I don't know why. Okay, so it's kind of farm related, but not really.
Okay.
Which insect is the closest relative to the grasshopper?
Okay, so just because I think it's going to be something that you would never think, I'm going to say the cockroach.
Oh my God, she's right! You got it! Oh, Laura, there went my 100%. So now I'm going to have to get a new batting average. Oh, you're right. It's a cockroach. All right, so I've got a few
Do
fun.
we need to do that again?
No. We have to keep it real in the trenches. You can't just because you got it right in the trenches. Yes. So our trivia winner she wins the trivia sticker that we haven't made yet. All right. So a cockroach. Here's some fun facts though. This is so gross. It is. Did you know a cockroach can live up to a week without its head?
I believe it.
They are like little tough suckers. They're nocturnal and they can live up to 3 months without food and a month without water. How about that?
I mean,
We were talking about tenacity and,
that.
working hard and sticking with it and living on the farm. So
be like a roach.
be like a cockroach. Put that one, be like a roach. Live without your head. I feel like that's not good. I feel like we should come up with something better than that. Yeah. That one's probably not going to be our tagline. No, probably not. Okay. All right. So let's talk about this business of yours.
Okay.
All right. So you mentioned a few minutes ago that you, built a career on marketing and business and these kind of things. And so you worked in corporate for a bit. Kind of tell us about that and how that transitioned into now being a small business owner and working for yourself.
Okay. So growing up like I did, I was not raised to be an employee. And you can probably ask every boss I've ever had. I was a terrible employee. Matter of fact, my last corporate job, I literally said that. I'm like, listen, I'm a terrible employee.
Like I get A+ for self-awareness.
And I'm good at my job, but I'm a terrible employee. So it never felt good. Nothing I did ever
Didn't fit.
Mm-mm. I actually didn't have the idea to go out and start my own business. I wanted some new floors in my house.
I love it.
And my husband's like, oh, it's just not in the budget. We can only replace the floors that we need to, which was the dining room at the time. And I'm like, oh, but I really want them. I think I can do some consulting on the side.
And make this work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it worked. And then after about a year, my accountant was like, yeah, your little side gig is like a full-time gig. It's time. And I'm like, are you sure?
When they
She's
start
like,
saying
"It's
things
time."
like quarterly tax payments, you realize okay, there's
almost
something happening.
passed out.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, you owe all this money. And you're like, wait, what? I was just trying to get some floors.
I know. I was just like, new client, great. Money, floors, like everything was working out. And then it came tax time and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have been there. I was there this last year and they said, I'm like, I didn't make that much as a teacher every year that you're telling me that I owe right now.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Yeah.
But what it did was well, number one, I finally took the plunge, and it showed me that owning my own business means unlimited potential.
Yeah.
You
Which
know,
is so much bigger than
there's
money.
yeah.
You know, that potential, they're like, money is just this much of like what it is. It's that fulfillment and that passion and that you're making your dent on the world.
Yeah.
You know, to leave it just a little better than you found it in whatever sector you're working in.
And I get to pick who I work with. You know, to me, I'm not just out there like looking for clients and signing whoever wants to work with me. I think it's a two-way thing. I think you are also kind of applying to work with me.
Yeah, girl,
you know,
get
it
it.
goes two ways.
I feel that way too. Even our families that we work with, I say all the time, like, we're not for everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Me too.
You know, I'm totally okay with that. And that's because we have pretty conservative values. We don't wear crop tops in our uniforms, you know, on our cheerleading teams, which is not a big deal to a lot of people in a lot of parts of the world. I'm not saying anyone's bad for that. It's just not what we do at our program. Right. And for us, it works, you know, and that's okay if that's, you know, I feel like for you, it's having that permission, you know, giving yourself that permission to go, doesn't just have to be about another dollar.
Yeah.
It's got to be about the purpose, and like the purpose is bigger than any of that. So it's funny you said that you started, you know, your side gig for floors, because that's how I started teaching lessons out of my garage. I couldn't afford to go on vacation. And I had a car that had like way over 100,000 miles on it. And I was a school teacher with a house payment, which meant I couldn't afford a car payment and a house payment, you know, as a single teacher. Grown-up bills, you know? And so, but I really wanted to go on vacation. Yeah. And so when I started, you know, it was for the same thing. Like, and my grandparents owned racetracks growing up. So when you talk about being on the farm, I'm like, I see so many commonalities. But I never thought about what you said is sometimes you weren't born to be an employee. Yeah. From having that like work alongside your parent mindset forever.
Well, and listen, not everybody is meant to be a business owner. You know, if everyone the world would not function.
No.
If it was that way. Everyone
And I think there's a season. Yes. Like you said, there's a season. Yeah. I didn't need to be a business owner in my 20s. Oh, Lord help us.
I did not either. Know? I did not either. I mean, I needed to go where I was going to learn what I know now. Because now my clients benefit from all of that experience that I have. Yeah. And so it's like taking all of my life and implementing it into this business.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the things I love about you is, and I know you say like, and so I just took the plunge, right? Like it was like not a big deal, but which is a huge deal. It's a huge time investment, but you've also spent, in the amount of time I've known you for sure, and years before that, a lot of time working on your personal development.
Oh, absolutely.
Tell us about that and what that's looked like for you.
So I grew up, going back to the beginning, I grew up in a Christian school, 12 years. I don't even know if I've told you this.
Yeah.
So very Bible based. So I know the Bible and I know the Christian beliefs. But I had a problem with the rules that were created by the people. Okay. And, I always was questioning, you know,
no,
go figure. They don't call me the rebel marketer for nothing.
Yeah, right.
I'm always breaking the rules.
Yes, I love it.
So I kind of had a block about spirituality. And I knew, you know, because I am a Christian, but I'm a lot of other things too. Yeah. And I believe in, you know, God and a higher power and are co-creating with the universe. Yeah. And I really started this journey, I guess, about 3 or 4 years ago. Because I knew there was more inside of me. I knew that I could create this life I wanted, and there was a better way to do it than just hoping it happened and working really hard.
Yeah, I think I grew up young, you know, a missionary Baptist, very conservative family. And, you know, the power of prayer was always talked about. And my parents were always like, but you also have 2 legs. Yep. So you can't just pray and do nothing. Like God puts that spirit of action in you for a reason. And you are the one that's responsible for the stewardship of the gifts that he gives you. Yeah. You know?
Well, God also gave us free will. We're not meant to.
Which I am still, okay, my best friend and I argue about this, but I'm like, that was so dumb. Like, why did he do that?
was like, we just screw it up all the time.
He knew that.
I know. And she's like, well, nobody wants to be loved because they have to be loved. Like, that's the whole point. And I'm
That's
like,
right.
I know, but we just continue to do dumb stuff and mess up this whole free will thing. But anyhow.
But what people forget is we're created in his image.
I know.
And if
so we shouldn't be so bad.
Well, if God is the most powerful presence and thing in this whole
universe,
outside of the universe even, and we're created in his image,
then we have power inside of us.
The only people limiting us from greater things is ourselves.
It's right between here.
Yeah. And that programming starts the instant we're born. And actually it goes even beyond that, because those things are carried from generation to generation. So once you start like learning about that and, you know, understanding what it means to manifest and visualize and do all of these things and co-create with God and the universe, then there's just a phenomenal shift in the way you see the world and the potential that you have in your own life.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. I think after I went to Costa Rica this last October, on a spiritual personal retreat, and have spent an extensive amount of time learning from people wiser than me and learning a lot about vibrations and the energy around us and inside of us. And this sounds so silly, but my husband said it was like, everybody knows this. And so maybe I'm the only one that didn't know it. But he was like, you know, that when like you die, like your soul is just energy. Like there's energy in you and it doesn't disappear. And I'm like, oh. And like they've weighed the body, like physically weighed the human body at death, and it automatically is
weighs
like
less.
Yeah, it's like so many ounces less. So it's epic. But then I found myself in Costa Rica, and I'm sitting there in this like beautiful little hut that was brought in from Bali or whatever, and it's raining, and I'm journaling, and I'm trying to juggle these two, like, okay, I'm learning all of these new things about what is and what's real, and I'm a Christian, right? Because and so how did you go through something similar, or how did that work for you?
I didn't.
Well, Queen Diva over here.
No, let me tell you why. Because I had already kind of walked away from, you know, I was already questioning everything.
Okay.
So it was really finding the path back to bringing it all together in the first place.
I didn't.
You can always count on me to
be
direct.
Keep it straight. Keep it real, Laura. That's what we do here in the trenches.
But yeah, it's because I had already kind of strayed away from it. You know, I'd already walked away.
Like straight away from like kind of like a Americanized religion, maybe is what you're talking about here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I church, and not that church is bad.
But every church is different. So different.
It's all different, but it was me. It's not the church.
It was you.
I never felt
I like that.
At home. And it's because I had all this other stuff I needed to learn. I was like still in that brain of, they're telling me to do this. And, you know, I'm not going to do what anybody tells me to do.
I'm telling my husband. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got that in common. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've kind of done this personal development work.
Mm-hmm.
You've got this business. How are those two? How is all that coming together for you? How is it? Could you have done one without the other? Is it all in the same for you?
I don't know if I could have. Yeah, I guess I could do one without the other. I could have started my business back in 2017 and just kept that, you know, super masculine energy, driving and pushing, and I don't know where I'd be now. I mean, I don't know. But
probably a stress disaster.
Yeah.
Because I found myself there a few years ago.
But, you know, somewhere along the way, because of things that happened in my life, I started doing this journey for myself. It really had nothing to do with my business. And because I get to pick who I want to work with, I work with a lot of women. Women-owned businesses. And I kept seeing the same thing come up for them that I was dealing with. Wow, you know, I feel really pulled. My life is out of balance. I'm blocked from building this business the way I really want to do it because I'm so focused on what I'm being told I should do and looking at all these other people who are doing things and thinking I should be like them. And so I just started blending in a lot of what I had learned with my coaching, my marketing coaching. And so that part kind of took on a form of its own.
I don't know for you, but for me and my spiritual journey and spiritual development, which is so different than religion and church, you know, which is something I did not know previously.
Yeah.
But is when you start learning more about you and spending time looking inward and meditating and reflecting, you see the world differently and you see other humans differently.
Yes.
Which is what marketing is all about.
Yes.
It's figuring out how to look at things through the eyes of your best fit customers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Your soul customer.
Like
soulmate.
Oh, your soul. Your soul sister.
You're a match.
Like your soul sister, but oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Soul customer. That's good.
And I mean, it's because number one, you stop leading and creating your business from your head. There are certain decisions you make in business with your head, but a lot of our business decisions should be made in our gut.
Like the vision and the mission and like where do we need to go next and those like critical moments. Yeah.
Part of the thing that I teach is the whole anatomy of building a brand and marketing strategy and what each part of your body serves. It's a different, task or, a different task for each part. So your brain, your heart, your gut, your arms, your legs, it's all different. And learning to rely on those. I mean, we don't listen to our instincts. And as women, especially, we have amazing instincts.
Yes.
And we are kind of programmed to ignore those from a very early age. And when you start getting back in touch with that again, it doesn't just change the way you make decisions in your life. It changes the way you make them in your business.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have you made a decision for your business just because it feels right?
Probably about 90% of the time.
Yeah.
But I'm a gut girl though, I go with it and I'm not scared and I take the risk and I jump and I figure that I can maybe always be a greeter at Walmart if I need to.
That's you can always find a job.
Somebody's going to hire me. I'm like, somebody's going to hire me. Like, I'm friendly.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
And when I started doing that, I mean, my business not only grew, but it felt good.
Man, right?
Yeah. And even like when it's hard now, like, oh, I have so many things to get done. It's different. The feeling is different.
It's
the energy is different.
Energy is different.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your energy comes through in everything you do. So in marketing, the copy you write, everything you're creating, your social media post, even our energy here on this podcast today, like your energy comes through in everything you do.
Yeah. You can feel it. It's something I was about, talk about energy, and I was reading some stuff when I was very first learning about all this. And one of the things that they said that I'll never forget, I can't remember who the author was because I would quote him, but is, have you ever felt like somebody was looking at you and you turn around and there's someone there looking at you?
Yeah.
That's the same thing. That's real. You really can feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about like when get the
like the heebie-jeebies or whatever? Yeah. Oh, I didn't think about that one. That's good. That's good stuff.
And have you ever felt like something was about to happen and it did?
Yeah. What do they call that? I was fixing to say voodoo, but it's deja vu. Deja vu. Yeah. I feel like too, sometimes in moments I'm like, I dreamed about this. I had a dream. This is happening now. I remember this dream. I feel like I should write about last night. I had a crazy dream. You want to hear about this? I had a crazy dream. I got bit by a snake, and I'm sure there's some research about this.
I was gonna say.
And then my husband and then this is in the dream, not in real life, pulls the snake off of me, and it's holding it, and its mouth looks like this. It's like chin's all stuck out like a fish. Like I can't remember what fish is like this. And then it had catfish things on it, and and he was like letting the catfish things touch me, and I was like, "You're going to hell for this." And then I woke up. So I don't know. What do snakes and dreams mean? Do you know that?
No.
We need to Google that.
There you go.
What's the last thing you Googled?
My name.
Did you have anything crazy come up? No? Why did you Google your name?
Well, because I want to see where I'm ranking in search
on
results.
Google. Yes. Where you're ranking on search. Okay, now how does that? What does that even mean? Like for people listening that are like, what? Wait, what? Why wouldn't my name be first? It's my name. Well, obviously, if your name's like George Jones or Bobby Smith, that's different. But what do you mean your name being in search results? What's that?
Well, I actually also I Googled Laura Kirk Consulting. And even though that's not the name of my business, I have that word multiple places on my website.
Okay.
So it's search engine optimization, SEO. And a lot of people say, oh, SEO is dead. That's not a thing anymore. And that's completely untrue. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that before recently, but I've read it, and
I just listen to what you tell me. So
what it is, it's actually just a part of a bigger content strategy. And it's really implementing those keywords into everything that you put online, not just your website, but everywhere that you're creating content.
Like on social media or a blog or something like that. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, even social media is using algorithms and search, terms to pull up rankings. So,
well, I think because too, like, I think a lot of people we're familiar now, like on Facebook, we see things based on algorithms. We're not necessarily always seeing things based on the most recent post or something. So it's kind of like that on Google too, right?
Yeah. It's like that on Google, Instagram, Facebook, all of your.
So did you come up good?
I did. Yeah.
Were you like number 1 or number 5 or?
My business was number 1.
Hey.
And then, I had a blog.
Is it your
Facebook.
blog? It was your blog.
It's on my website.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then
Facebook
other ones.
Yeah. So you felt good about that. You like popped your collar after that one, like
But then I'm like, maybe I need to clear my search results, clear my cache, and check it again.
Did you do that?
Yeah, I did.
And it came up again?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you sometimes I'll do be searching for travel and stuff online. I don't know what this means. So I'm not very good at this stuff. But then I'll be incognito mode.
Yeah.
And then see if I can still get the same price or if it's cheaper.
Right.
Yeah. It doesn't usually change it. But I always feel like I'm going stealth mode, like I'm in the CIA or something doing that.
Like you're not getting fed
dark
certain results.
Like on dark web. Like dark web and incognito, bitches. Yeah, it doesn't really change.
I'm pretty sure there's a big difference between that. I would probably be I don't even know how to get to the dark web.
Yeah, I know. My husband's like, I can look it up on the dark web for you if you want me to. I'm like, no, we'll go to jail. He's like, well, I haven't actually bought anything off there or contributed. I'm just looking. And I'm like, I don't even know. I just imagine a dark room with a big dark screen.
I know.
And like MS-DOS, font letters going across in there in neon letters, and then it's the back of somebody sitting there at the
and then the CIA and FBI has you on some kind of
watch list. Yeah, and they're like, "What's you looking up? Tie Beanie Babies from 1996." Yeah,
tires for my Toyota 4Runner.
When they're gonna open up the Ford Bronco ordering portal. Hello. Oh my God, I've been waiting on a year and a half on that car. So I called the dealership yesterday. I'm like, hey, any word on ordering those Broncos? And they're like, no, nothing yet. I was like, okay, I'll just keep looking at the Instagram accounts and pretending like I might get to get one day.
Yeah, it's been like that for a while.
I mean, it has. So what's been the most memorable moment of your career so far?
Oh my gosh.
I'm with Jeopardy music.
That's a tough one.
Do, 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 do. Or is that Price is Right? Yeah. Am I doing it right?
Well, I probably should say being on Brooke's podcast.
Oh, that's she's lying. But you know what? We'll take it, right?
I think it was probably my first big contract.
Oh, right? You felt oh my gosh, I'm worth this. I'm worthy enough. I've done this.
I felt that. And then immediately after I felt, holy crap, how am I going to do this?
Isn't that true though? Sometimes in business and in life, just showing up.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm showing up. Okay, now what? Now what do I do? Now, okay, I got to actually deliver what I just said. And I know I can do it, but oh my God, how am I going to do this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the time. I mean, I'll tell my husband, guess what? I just got this job and it's doing da-da-da. And he's like, do you know how to do that? I'm like,
kinda.
Not yet.
But I'll figure it out. YouTube, baby. I mean, I feel like you can learn so many things online now.
Fortunately, I've been in business long enough. I do know how to do everything that I do, I sell. But
or you have contractors too that work with you.
Yes, I do.
So your team is you're bringing in other women who maybe have another specialty. Maybe you can do it, but you're not doing it all.
Right.
Yeah.
And, being my past business experience, I did have, the Google certification and the SEO experience and definitely the marketing and, building. I specialize in campaigns.
Yeah.
So building campaigns and all of these things. But there's always elements that you don't know how to do. Like, okay, I'm going to launch a Google campaign and I have no idea how to create the graphics because in the big business, I had a graphic designer to do all this.
Yeah.
So you start realizing, okay.
And graphics take so long.
Yes.
They really do.
And I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm extremely impatient.
Oh, no. But most
so it's like.
Most of us self-starter business women are because we just want to do it right now.
I know. Like, can I not just do this in 5 minutes because I've got other things to do? And it's funny because when you're building, you're like, okay, I have to do this for me now, but this is what on the list, seats to fill.
Yes.
Because I can't build my business and keep doing my own graphic design. I can't build my business and keep building my own, or doing social media management.
Yeah.
So you start making this list of seats that you need. And as you grow, you start filling the most important ones first.
Yeah. So is that what's next for you? Hiring staff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And you have a new location that you're about to open?
Yes.
Which is super exciting, like an actual office front.
It is.
Yeah, that you'll be able to have your clients there.
I'm so grown up.
I know. I'm so excited for you. And you guys have a new program that you're starting.
Yeah, I do.
We can't say the name. So we like the bleep, like the name of the program, bleep in here. Okay. Sound effect.
Yeah.
All right.
So what I find is there's this gap. There's people.
Can we just call it like Betty? Like, let's just call it Betty.
So
Betty,
yes,
is the program.
We'll help those people
Bleep.
who.
Sorry. Okay, I'm done now. I'm done.
We'll help people that aren't quite ready to scale to the point where they're ready to bring me on as like their marketing partner.
Right.
Or full time, as like do all of our marketing or teach our marketing team, those things. They're like, I still want to do it myself.
Yeah.
But I don't know where to begin.
And maybe I can't financially, I want you, but I can't financially afford you yet. So you have Betty is going to come in the.
Betty is your partner. And it is a mix of online training and one-on-one trainings. So you'll have everything, all the resources you need online. It's an academy, not a course, because to me, a course felt too impersonal, and I really like that connection with everyone.
But speaking from someone who works alongside you, it's a lot to learn to manage all of your own marketing. And it's such a fast changing field.
Oh, absolutely.
Like me in QuickBooks doing financials for our companies, it doesn't ever change. A journal entry is the same journal entry that it has been forever.
Yeah.
But with marketing, it's so fast.
It is. And you have to be able to pivot and like take what you're learning from what's happening and how to shift. Whenever I create campaigns, I always go into it. We're starting this, but we're going to learn. The first few weeks, we're going to see how everything's performing. And then we're going to make tweaks as we need to, because we may see one thing's working better than another. Something may not be working at all. So it's just this constant. So it's not just the industry that's changing.
Yeah.
It's that it's a constant, flow of information, and you have to know how to react to it.
So speaking from experience, when you get a customer like me who had some issues. So when we very first met, you gave me a big proposal. We had a lot of new websites and new design stuff, new campaigns coming, and we had a lot of back end work to do.
Yeah.
And so what does it look like for a company if they're like, I need help, but it is so bad, so outdated, I don't even know where to start. And they don't know, they're scared. That's scary to admit, like, I'm in and over my head. I don't know what all needs to be fixed. Help. Mm-hmm. What does that look like for somebody?
Really just calling and telling me you need help. You don't know where to start. And I'll ask questions to kind of guide them through, but it's just really coming in and getting a snapshot of where you are now, what your goals are, where you want to go. And then we create a strategy from there.
Yeah. And do they I know for me, when you and I first started working together, I didn't even really know what my goals needed to be.
Yeah.
And so do you help people kind of figure out, here's where your potential is. Here's where I could see you going with this. Is that something that you...
I ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
So I just, it's a conversation. And a lot of times what happens is there are things you don't even realize.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because we just start having a conversation and it starts to kind of present to you even, oh yeah, this is really what I want.
It's like business therapy.
It kind of is. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, I forgot I had all those thoughts and dreams and goals before I got busy in the middle of all the crazy chaos and everything that's, going on and trying to figure all those things out. So yeah,
exactly.
That's cool. That's cool. So what do? You built this business, where you said, yeah, and then I took the plunge and went for it, which is a huge deal. And you have found success, and I know you still have goals and dreams for your business and things, but what do you do for fun?
So I love to paint.
Uh-huh.
I paint with acrylics. Not saying I'm good. but I do it.
Yeah.
It's relaxing and I have fun doing it. My grandmother was an oil painter. And
Yeah.
so I remember painting with her. And so a couple of years ago, I started doing that again, kind of my own, therapy at home.
And you have some of her paintings too, yeah?
Yes. Yeah. Everyone in the family was able to get, some of grandma's paintings. We had some before, but, after we lost her, we were all able to share them.
Did any of your grandkids paint yet?
They'll come and paint with me.
Yeah, that's so fun.
Yeah.
Get little messy fingers all over the place. And
yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about today that we hadn't already talked about?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay. So if there's somebody who maybe they're wanting to, be like you when they grow up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They want to start their own marketing business or maybe just consulting business in general.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them?
Yeah. So really anything that you want to start, I would just say start. Don't think that you have to have a well thought out plan, a business strategy, or even know what you're going to be doing with the business next year. Just start where you are and start with what you love.
Yes.
Most of our businesses come because we either have done it, we've learned something that can help someone, or we have, gone to school and specialized in something.
Yeah.
And so it's really taking that and finding a way to help others do it.
Yeah.
And if you're loving it, it will grow from there. So you have to start where you are.
That passion being in there changes the whole energy, the whole vibe of everything.
Yeah.
James Clear from Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits. Say that 5 times fast. Words are hard. That's what my husband said to me this week when I was getting stuck on my words. He has a weekly email called 321 where he sends out 3 thoughts, or 3 ideas from him, 2 quotes from other people, and then 1 question. So one of his, ideas that he sent this week goes along with that. And he said, finish something, anything. Stop researching, planning, and preparing to do the work and just do the work. It doesn't matter how good or how bad it is. You don't need to set the world on fire with your first try. You just need to prove to yourself that you have what it takes to produce something. There are no artists, athletes, entrepreneurs, or scientists who became great by half finishing their work. Stop debating what you should make and just make something.
Yeah.
That's so good.
It is.
Yeah.
It's so good.
The YouTuber I follow for yoga with Adrienne. Yeah. And you said you follow her too.
Yeah.
She, I love this story. So she's this dog named Benji and she does yoga and it's, she does this little 30-day challenge and I'll get up in the mornings and do it with her in my living room. And, then the other day I just couldn't do like the 20-minute session. I needed like 10 minutes, or less. And, normally it's recorded and it's like a really pretty serene space. Well, you've seen it if you've been on there, but she gets on there and she's traveling and, she gets on there and she's like, hey, it's Adrienne and I'm traveling and I'm not hungover. And I was sitting there thinking, what? But like, it just goes to show that video was 8 years prior to the amazing videos and stuff that she has now. And I'm sure, I look back at graphics I made, for social media. And I'm like, I was so proud of that little thing. Like our first logo has a silhouette in the middle of it that I had to get a graphic designer to put in the upside down triangle that I found that I made with a text above it that said Empire on Google Drawings. In 2014. And I was so proud of that silhouette that got there in the middle of it, and now that's something that we could just whip up together. But there's so much truth in just getting started and not falling like prey to that. I got to have it all together before I ever.
Yeah. You don't have to have it all together. You don't have to, there is no perfect, first of all. And don't compare yourself to others that
the devil in the comparison is so true.
Yeah. I mean, you can definitely like learn things that you like that other people are doing and implement those in a way that feels good to you, but don't compare yourself. They have their own journey. And, your journey's meant to be what it is.
I like that. They have their own journey, which is something we have to remember that we have our own journey.
Yeah. And just remember, you'll always figure it out.
Yeah.
They laugh at me in my house. My husband, he is the most patient person ever. And he's just on this roller coaster with me. And oftentimes, how are you going to do that? I'll figure it out.
You're like, I don't know, but I'm going to find a way to do it.
I'll figure it out.
I'm going to find a way to do it. Okay. So last question I have for you. What's one thing you've always wanted to do, but you haven't done?
Kayaking.
All right. So why haven't you done kayaking?
I don't know. It's just, I guess when I think about it, it seems so hard like getting, like, what kayak do I buy? Where do I go?
How do you haul it on your car to where you're going down to the river? And then this is the other thing. So like I've been canoeing before, which is not the same thing as kayaking, but like it's always the thing of like, it's not a circle. So like once I kayak down the river,
how do I get back?
How's my back to my car? You know, I got to like find a shuttle or park a friend's car down there. And there's like this whole thing.
Oh man, I know. I mean, we went whitewater rafting once on a trip, and they dropped us up at one point and picked us up at the other. First of all, it was the most scary experience of my entire life. But
whitewater rafting.
But nobody's picking me up on the other, like, and when you take your kayak out there and then you like get back, and then how tired are you? Then you have to like carry your kayak back to your car. So a lot of times I'm just like, I'll just go get my pool.
Or you could put the kayak in the pool. And then the grandkids on the front and back and make it like a little paddleboard kayak thing. Yeah, my husband has a kayak and he's always like, we should get another kayak. Like we'll see him on sale at Academy or something. And I'm like, I think I'm good. That seems like a whole lot of this.
I know.
And that. Yeah, I like to hike, but kayaking. But I do love the water. So the water can be
I do too. Yeah. It like calls to me. The water does.
I always say I want to live on water one day. Like, like by a creek or something. So tell us, as we wrap up today, tell us where can people find more about you and what your work and what you're doing?
So LauraKirkMarketing.com.
Okay.
On Instagram, the Laura Kirk, and on Facebook.
Not a Laura Kirk. The Laura Kirk. It's going to come in at the top of the Google rankings.
The Laura Kirk.
Yeah.
And then Laura Kirk Marketing on Facebook.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here today. It's been so fun.
It's been great.
Thank you guys for being here with us on another episode of the GRIT Crusade. Until next time.
You've been listening to the GRIT Crusade podcast with Brooke Platt. Our theme song is Thunder City by Luna Ray. This podcast was produced by Luminate Media Group. Our executive producer is Josh Freeman, and our audio engineer is Steven Stringer. Thank you for listening, and join us again next time.